Short-lived.
Has a season like this, I guess, taken a few years off your life?
I don't know. I don't know when I die. No, I just, we have to be better, end game, being strong with the ball and making better decisions. But, they're always trying to fix something. It's just very, very, out there when it's as glaring as what it's been the last few games. But, I'm confident. We got better in some areas that we executed against Clemson. And now we've just got to take a step further, and because we're going to find ourselves in positions the way we're playing to close games. We got to do it the right way.
And you can't really depend on a game to get comfortable in the ACC, can you? Playing the game that you're comfortable.
No, I never feel comfortable. We're always going to be playing a team that has highly recruited players and is well coached and knows your system and what you're running, and scouting becomes so apparent in league play. So yeah, it's always going to be a tough night in our league.
How do you decide who inbounds the ball?
You want someone that can be poised. We have to have somebody that's taller, because at times you can't run the baseline. So while we feel like CC's our best passer, he would also struggle, I think, if you had a guy like Elijah Thomas on the ball and he had a spot and couldn't move. His vision becomes severely impaired. That's why the NFL doesn't draft short quarterbacks for the most part. So, he's got to have some size, and with that has to have some type of perimeter field. So Jordan really is our best option by far. A few of the passes that he made, I don't want to say weren't his fault. The first one was when he threw it long. He's not allowed to throw it long in that case. But the second one, as he was throwing it, Dwayne was open and he fell. So we'll get better at that, but yeah.
Chris, the last 3 games have been just crazy. Have you experienced a stretch like this before in your career? You've been doing this a long time.
Probably not consecutive, back-to-back games. No, probably not.
Is there, on those inbound passes, when you're being pressed, is there an area where the ball is not supposed to go? Or is it just whoever is open?
To the other team.
That's not an area, though. I mean, like, is there underneath the basket or short corner or places like that?
Ideally, you don't want to throw it right in the coffin corner on the baseline. Again, get emails. You learned that in grade school. Well, you're also getting denied by 6-7 athletes, and you don't always have the ability to get where you want on the floor to catch it ideally where you want. The most important thing is getting it safely inbound. If you ask me where I preferred the ball or where we preferred the ball on the floor, sure, it'd be up the floor, not on the sideline, but near the sideline. But, the court's only so wide, and when option 1 isn't open and option 2 isn't open, you can't put option 3 and 4 in the same areas, because then you have one defender that's able to guard, 2 players on your own team. So, the floor sort of gets divided up in thirds, and where the ball went at the end of the Clemson game was the middle third, but that wasn't our first option.
Is the Syracuse, people when they play Syracuse, first thing they think about is the 2-3 zone. Is their length, is that primarily what makes it so effective and different from maybe some other zones?
Sure. I think their length and the fact that they play it all the time. It's their primary defense. They practice it every day. They're 40 minutes of it, every game. They're committed to it. So they know, and they've experienced all the different types of attacks, whereas often other teams pepper it in. They play it in a little stretch. If it works, they'll stay with it. But that's Syracuse's identity. So they know when a ball goes to the short corner or to the high post, what teams are looking for. And so their closing speed and their reaction time is much quicker because they're used to it than other teams.
Coach, CC does a lot of different really good things for you guys, but besides the fact that he does take up the ball a lot for you guys, majority of the time, Do you ever feel like he's wearing down when he's dealing with the pressure so much?
No, I think, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you say, hey, I think you're looking worn down, you're worn down, you're worn down. He gets enough off days. Our practices are short and concise. That to me would be for CC an excuse. He had a terrific game against Clemson. Terrific. Our inability to end games has nothing to do with him wearing down. It's other guys being able to be options, making stronger decisions with the ball. He slipped, but I don't think that had anything to do with him wearing down.
Chris, what kind of challenges does Tyus Battle present for you on defense?
Well, he's got really good size for his position. He scores it at the basket. He's got a great pull-up game. When he's shooting the ball from three, he's that much more difficult of a challenge. And he, like a lot of Coach Boeheim's players, he plays with a lot of confidence. He hits contested shots. He's a really, really good one-on-one player for sure.
Back to the zone. So what's the most important thing for you guys in attacking that particular zone?
Just getting a good shot. They're number one in the conference, turn teams over. And those turnovers, for the most part, aren't traveling violations, which would probably be neutral for you. It leads to 2-on-1s. They're perimeter players at the top of the zone, so now when that ball gets stolen, it's 2-on-1 with their best ball handlers and finishers at the top. So we've got to be able to make sure that our turnovers are down, we get good looks, and then we've got to be able to rebound the basketball against their zone, which, again, easier said than done. If 5 guys are generally in the lane, we've got to figure out a way to get a few of them.
Chris, how important is it to move the ball against the zone offensively?
Really important. Again, they've seen every type of offensive attack. And if you hold it, if you stare holes through where you're trying to get the ball, they're just going to get deflections. It's going to lead to runouts. So our ability to get the ball, in their zone stretched out and moved from side to side, getting different players, their forwards to cover for their guards, their center, to go out of his area to the corner, to the high post. Those are ways that you can stretch the zone. If you hold the ball, if you try to stare down where your looks are, we won't stretch anybody and we'll take contested shots like a lot of teams do.
How do you think you've played against zone so far, Chris? The ones you faced?
We've gotten better. We were very average at the beginning of the year. Obviously Duke, we weren't very good, but that was more of a pressing zone. And for the most part, what you judge is, do you get the looks that you want? And when we did execute against Duke, we got great looks. We got to knock them down. I'm confident with some of our guys that we'll be able to do that.
Coach, because you guys did struggle with the zone against Duke, obviously their length is a completely different animal to deal with, but I know you said that you didn't have the team look at the film, but because you guys struggled in the past, is that one of those maybe you would go ahead and watch just to look at what you guys didn't do well and try to improve on it, or is it just one of those you put behind you?
As I said before, when we played Duke, we didn't really go over, zone offense. We didn't really brush up on that. You only have so much time in your practice day to cover the things that you feel like are essential to win the game. It's not that we're unprepared. It's not like we don't have a zone offense in. We hadn't worked on it in a day or two leading up to the game. Obviously, that's not the case here. So, being confident in where we want the ball, getting it there, being able to play from there is my only concern. Going back and watching Duke film, I don't believe, and that's a decision I get to make, will help our team win the game tomorrow night.
Jordan said that even if you guys, since you guys were picked 11th, you've been better than that, obviously a lot better. But he doesn't think that other teams sort of believe in him yet, or believe in you guys yet. I mean, do you see any of that?
Well, there's an athletic article that sort of stamped his point the other day.
Wonder who wrote that.
What were your thoughts on that article?
Well, it's you know, I'd love to know when it was written, you know, but, it talked about us not playing the, you know, the toughest part of our schedule. I don't know how many games we have to have left before we hit the tough part of our schedule. Maybe, you know, I know Virginia's really good, so maybe you have to play Virginia once before you consider even a tough part of your schedule.
Do you use that as motivation for your play?
Hell yes.
You can't tell?
Coach, can you touch on the jerseys for Black History Month?
Our marketing department does a great job, and it's no secret that a lot of the guys that wear the uniform here are African American, and to recognize the you know, their achievements and you know the influence, I think is really important. And obviously it's Black History Month, and so you know Louisville marketing does an incredible job. You know, with all the different whether it's Muhammad Ali, Black History Month, stuff they've done in the past for cancer awareness. I mean, it's, you know, we have a huge platform, and it's been great to see how creative and how appreciative our folks are in doing those type of things.
If you accept the premise that you're better than people think you are or thought you were, what did people miss about this team as far as its talent was concerned?
I think that people probably equated it more to inexperience without really knowing those guys and really seeing them on the floor. It's probably tough to make an assessment. As I've said, we never felt like from day one we were going to be a reclamation project. We always felt like we had talented players, and you know, if we played for one another, then we had a chance to, you know, have a special season.
Would have been hard for any detached observer to know what
Probably.
Jordan was going to be based on last year.
Probably. Yep.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.